rather than rediscovering or reinventing the wheel, everything that you're agonizing about is already set forth in code. Josephine County, through Article 76, it came about after large fires every season. The state fire marshal came down and said, Josephine County, if you choose to have this much density and not have fire protection, we're through giving you a free ride and bringing resources from throughout the state to come put out your fires. Get a fire district or get it together. And that was, I'm very proud to say, we were the first county to have it, and now pretty much every county in the state has copied us to some degree. But that was actually the etiology. That was the day it started. Based on that, we've already got all the rules on access and water supply set forth in the fire code. And the reason I sway toward that is the fire code gets readopted. It's the best practices. If something bad happens, you guys as a body can say, wait a minute, we didn't think we were smarter. We went with the best practices called the Oregon Fire Code. Instead, when you start carving things down and modifying this and changing that and lessening this, you're in essence assuming some of the liability should the right person ever say, how did you allow this to happen? And that's why I'm glad we're having this conversation, because some of the proposed changes we'd heard that might be coming through Article 76 could affect, say, some of the folks in this room and how they deliver service. If you set up a rule that allows a customer to build a house in a place that these folks can't service it, then shame on you. But also shame on them. It hurts them. It's now they're dismantling their fire district, and now they've got to say, well, we'll do our best, but because of your circumstances, we may have a slower response time. Or like Cameron said something the other day to me that made a lot of sense. A super skinny driveway up a long distance, it's one thing if he knows it's a driveway and there's just one family going to be coming down that driveway. It's a whole different thing if it's a road and he's got an unknown number of vehicles trying to come down that skinny street while the fire and emergency responders are trying to go up it. So many of these things are already based in code, and it gets revisited and it stays current, it stays germane, because the industry puts this together. And so I would urge you to kind of, when in doubt, yield to best practices. For example, the bridge thing, it's already set, it's 60,000. For the county to say, well, we'll allow 50, and we have a mutual aid and fire departments respond from throughout the country to come down here this summer, and we drop a big engine over into somebody's creek. Well, shame on us. But now, if they're way too heavy to even adhere to the standards set forth in the code, well, then shame on them. They shouldn't have that thing, because this is an industry standard. So I would just urge you, whenever you come to those forks in the road, to look at what the best practices are. And I'd also like to remind you that the perceived hardship is not a perceived hardship anywhere else in the state. It's just the Josephine County mentality where, wait, this is my property, doggone it. Well, unfortunately, these folks, if you dial 911, these folks are going to do their best to serve you. They don't have the luxury of going, we never really were sure about your bridge, so we're not coming. It doesn't work that way. And so we're sort of at your mercy to look out for their access and water supply needs. You know, otherwise they'll still respond. They just will respond slower and perhaps less efficiently.